let's see.
How you doing?
Hey everybody, it's the Bray. Welcome. I do have a few questions. Let's see. Oops, wait a second. I need to figure this out. I got volume here.
How you doing?
There we go. I had to turn off the volume in the house. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, I have oh, Java, thank you. I have a question right off the bat there. But hi everybody, how are you? I hope everybody that's in the freezing cold weather is holding up well. We are getting all of that Midwestern cold, I guess upper Midwest tomorrow. Yay, that'll be exciting. There were a few questions that I had. I asked earlier if anybody had questions because it's kind of easier to start out that way. And that way, but please, by all means, throw questions at me now because I've only got a couple. One of them, though, might take some time because it's interesting. Somebody asked about the hay bag filling, that sometimes they see people in the afternoon filling the hay bags and sometimes they don't. Well, when I fill the hay bags, I fill them a lot fuller than Hannah, for example. I also get somebody to help me clip the two really huge ones because I make them so full. Hannah doesn't do that. She makes them so they're manageable for her. I just put them up so somebody doesn't have to worry about it later. There's usually hay the next day after I've filled hay bags. So that's why we do it that way. So there is no, I mean, the afternoon person always checks to see if the hay bags need filling, but they definitely try to, make sure that they're full enough that they'll make it until the next day. And there's almost 99% of the time when I come in the morning, there's hay still in them, usually. Somebody asked, and that was from Bailey. Thank you, Bailey. And then Jody asked when Romeo was leaving, and I would say 2 weeks ago, if that's an answer. But no, that was supposed to be 2 weeks ago. Then the storm hit, and then it was supposed to be this weekend. I don't know why, but Romeo is still here, which I'm fine with. But Romeo is still here, and the rumor is that we're getting the pregnant donkey, which is exciting to watch, but I hate splitting up the stall. I hate that. It's just, now you've got 3 stalls instead of 2, and it's just, I don't know, maybe it's a mind thing, but it just seems like they have less room to roam. But I'm looking forward to having a new friend, and a new baby would even be better. And then Matina asked a very, very interesting question, which is probably going to take a minute to talk about. She asked why Mo whimpers when Romeo comes in for food near her. And let me just start by saying, I don't know. And secondly, everything that I have unearthed online is inconclusive as to why they whimper. Everything that I pull up says the sounds that a mule makes are kind of a bray and a hee-haw combined. True. And then they say, and they sometimes whimper, but they don't say why they whimper. I would like to ask Carlene. She's aware of it, but I haven't seen her. So I'll ask Carlene another day. She may or may not know. I know horses do it kind of similarly, and they do it when there's usually another horse approaching that they don't know. Obviously, Mo knows Romeo, and they peacefully eat out of the same hay bag. So why does she sometimes whimper, and why does she not other times? Well, that comes to another interesting question, and I can't remember who asked me this. I think it was yesterday. Somebody asked me why it seems positional when it's off-putting to the donkeys. Like, okay, let me start over because I'm confusing it. Okay, when the donkeys are all at the hay feeding trough, and another donkey comes up, they get nudgy when it was on the right but not the left. It was her observation. I can't say that I've observed this knowingly. It may have happened around me and I haven't noticed it. So, bless you. Hi, Wade. So there is like is there a side preference? No. Horses see from the front. Many horses have their eyes set back a little bit further, but donkeys' eyes are on the sides of their head, and they see all four of their feet at the same time. They can always see all four of their feet, and that is their main concern. What is in my path? What's near me? Can I see my feet? So the only conclusion I could come to is that potentially they couldn't see their feet. I don't know. I mean, I'm really speculating. It would take probably a government grant and a lot more time just sitting around looking at donkeys for me to figure it out. But I'm going to continue to watch it because I thought it was interesting. Also, Java asked if Flossie has a bit that goes in the halter. Absolutely not. There's no bit. There's never a bit. And the halter has like 2 holes on the side, and then it has one underneath. And you can lead from, like, usually these are for when you do the 2-point tying off in the breezeway for whatever reason, like doing hooves or whatever. And so they go under here, and I find that some of the clips are a little big and it really annoys her. But then she doesn't like having the halter on at all. You'll see her shaking her head like crazy when she has a halter on. And the other day, they didn't catch it on camera when I took her for a walk. Her front feet were coming off the ground in absolute defiance over being led. And then if you watched today, or if you watch any other time, that particular day, we get back to the barn. Now, I'm having difficulties getting her back in the barn. I don't know why. I can't figure it quite out yet. I'll explain it if you'd like. We go for our walk, and she's walking along with me just fine. We get to the barn threshold. She will not go into the barn. I've got like the stall door open, so the barn door's here. So we come in through the barn door, and then there's a stall door right there, which I have open. And the first time I thought it was because all the other donkeys were crowding the area. So this time I closed everybody off, so nobody was in the barn. And so when we came back in, she got right to the threshold again, and she wouldn't come into the barn. So I found that I had to bring her all the way past the door, back around, and then in. Why? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe that's because of all the lines and the drop down into the stall. I'm really not sure, but it's interesting. I would love to know what goes on in that little brain of my little Flossie girls. But no, there is no bit. Also, if you have any more questions, I'm going to look right now to see if there are any more, because I think I'm up to date on questions. Cammie, Kathy, are you asking if the donkeys can have turnips and stuff? Is that a question for the donkeys? I never thought that much about donkeys until STP and learning from Carlene. Know from you that this is new to you as well. What have you learned so far? Oh my gosh, Doris, what have I not learned? Absolutely more than I ever thought I would know about donkeys in my entire life. And I don't know if you ever see any of my posts, but I read everything I can get my hands on or put my eyes upon regarding donkeys. I've learned about their vision. I've learned absolutely everything a textbook can teach me, and I've learned a lot, of course, from being with the donkeys, but I'm learning more all the time. And it's just so funny to me because I had a French bulldog who passed away a year ago, and she acts like Flossie sometimes, or Flossie acts like her, where I enter the room, stoic, I could care less, but as soon as I go to walk away, she follows me. And sometimes my dog did the same thing, like, oh, you're here. But then, you know, it wouldn't leave my side for a minute. And so it's funny to me that how Flossie is like my little shadow, and she'll follow me to the ends of the earth, but yet she doesn't exhibit excitement except for when I like leave the stall to go get something. She'll start doing her meh, 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 you know, and I'm like, oh, you're a big girl, stop crying. But yeah, and I don't know if donkeys can have bananas, but they can have pears, turnips, any kind of veg is perfect. And then Lila asked if the Mose gets carrots daily, and no, they don't. They don't get carrots daily. And donkeys, something I learned from my textbooks, because that's the person that I am, donkeys thrive on a really high cellulose diet, which is why hay is perfect. They need nothing in their diet other than hay. Anything that we give them in addition to hay is a bonus for them. I give them apples a lot because one of the Steves, I don't know his last name, lovely person. I think they call him Meat Grinder Steve. I think that's what they call him, at least around here.
Meat chipper.
What is it?
Meat chipper Steve.
Meat Chipper Steve. I think it's Meat Chipper Steve, but he gets like apples, packaged little cellophane bags of apples from a school when they are no longer usable for the school. So I love those because they're already cut up, because a lot of times people will bring in bags of apples and they sit around forever because nobody wants to cut them up. I don't in the cold, and sometimes I'll take them in while Haley's in the barn and try to cut them up, but there's not a great surface to do it. So I love these little packets of apples, and so I do bring those a lot, and I'll have them in my pocket a lot. That's why sometimes if I put my hand in my pocket, all of a sudden I'm mauled. I'm very popular, but yeah, they do definitely do great with hay. They don't need anything else. Even donkeys that live a very pasture life, that don't live in a barn like ours do, they are fine with, as long as there's plenty for them to graze. They really truly don't need any other sort of supplement. So they do really thrive with what we give them. There's a dog question. Oh, Nana 2.0, she said, let's hope the new donkey is really pregnant this time. Yeah, you know, well, it's funny. I think we've had this discussion, and it's worth mentioning again. A lot of people get their 2 donkeys, and as soon as one becomes pregnant, that's when they send them to the kill pens because they don't want more. And it's actually cheaper for them to just go get another donkey and auction that one off or get rid of it than it is to geld them or deal with now having a baby, another mouth to feed. And so, but those are the people that have donkeys for the pragmatic reason of simply protecting their herds, and they don't really care about them. They don't want them to be their pets like we perceive them to be. Let's see. But yes. Hi, Cammie. Hi, Lila. We hear you. Am I too loud? Do I talk too loudly? I do sometimes. Here's one for Tracy. Nope, I saw that one. It does not have a bit. There's no dogs or people outside. Can you blame them? It's actually not that bad, but it's really, really icy. This morning I woke up at 4:30 in the morning because that's kind of what I do, and it was 35 degrees. And then within an hour, the temperature started dropping and it started snowing and sleeting. And when I drove here at 7 this morning, it was ice. And right now the driveway's ice. I didn't even want to go park in the parking pit because I was afraid I wouldn't get out. And I didn't want to go park at the barn because everything is just ice. I mean, I do have my fancy boots on today, not my barn boots, but I was like, I don't want to walk on that. Welcome to Our Addiction. If you are online, there is a trainer talk daily at 4:50 p.m. Eastern and mail call at 5 p.m. Eastern. At these times, they talk about the dogs, and you may ask questions then. Oh, I'm sorry. That was somebody responding to Kelsey who was asking about the dogs. So, yeah, just her timing's a little off. I'm not a dog person. I mean, I love dogs, and I do pet them, and it was even interesting today, like, Haley was moving puppies from one spot to another, and all of them are following her except one trails off and wants to run the opposite direction. And it's my inclination, it's Wade's inclination, oh, grab the dog, helping Haley out. And she was like, no, don't grab him. And so I'm learning all the time about the training methods that they use here, kind of secondhand, since I'm not at all involved in that. But it is really interesting, and I do love the dogs. And I do love, if I have like a favorite dog, I don't think I'm supposed to have a favorite dog, am I? I love Ariat. Grace's dog is the best. She's really super sweet. And I love Riz. And who doesn't love a puppy? You just gotta love all the puppies. Okay, I'm not too loud. Good. Okay, you can lower the volume. I do have kind of one of those voices that carries a bit. Thank you for saying I have a wonderful speaking voice. Does Flossie make noises? Toria asked, hi Tracy, great job, thank you. Does Flossie make noises when she is whining? Not sure if I heard that correctly. I imagine her to be very vocal. Thank you. I don't know if you ever can hear it very well, but when she's in the barn with me, and I've sealed her in there with me because I don't want anybody else in there. It's hard enough to muck the stall with her in there, but if she wants to be with me, that's fine. If she wants to stay out and be a sunny girl, she can be a sunny girl. But if I leave the stall for like a second, she'll stand at the stall door, and I can't impersonate it properly, and I'm gonna have to work on it in my free time when nobody's listening. But she does this. She gets all whiny, but it's quiet. It's not real loud. And when I always come back in, I'm like, stop crying, you're a big girl. But she does make noises when I leave, or when she first sees me, she makes the same sound. So, and then there's the times when she sees me and she's just like, you're here. But of course, she nudges me and that kind of thing, and follows me all over the place. But they don't act excited. Somebody wrote to me today, I don't remember who, because I have a very bad short-term memory apparently, but somebody was telling me, maybe it was Betsy. Was it Betsy? I don't know. Anyway, somebody was telling me that they have a mini horse that sits in their lap anytime they sit down, and I think, oh, that's really sweet, but I don't really have a good place to sit. I think it would be cute to have a mini horse on my lap, but maybe the next baby I will work on that. Also, in addition to trying to halter train Flossie, Carlene asked me a while back to try. Hi, Carlene. I was just talking about you. Carlene asked me to try and train Flossie. Will you answer a question?
Sure.
You know how
But I'm really here for my chair.
Oh, this one?
You're in my chair.
Take your chair, my love. It's all yours.
Well, you could sit on that one.
I look thinner on these.
Oh, well, you go right ahead. Look there.
But anyway, people were asking about, you know how Mo does her when Romeo comes by?
I had this question before, yes.
Well, what does it mean exactly? Like, I went online and I read every sound that a mule makes
Has some meaning.
has a meaning.
But
And
I think with these donkeys and all, I think it's more the head move. When she does that, her tail flicks and her head shakes.
yeah, exactly.
And the tail flicks.
It doesn't to me like
It's get out of here or something.
right. It's like you're a pain in my butt.
That's what she's saying.
But the funny thing is, like when the horses do the same thing, they say it's like if a strange horse approaches them and they don't know it, it can be a sign of aggression. But I don't see any aggression in it. I see annoyance.
Annoyed. She's pissed.
Yeah.
She's annoyed.
Yeah. Well, somebody was asking and saying, I want a definitive answer what that really means, and I'm like, well, I can
There's
tell.
never a definitive answer with animals.
There
We
never
can
is.
give you an idea of what we think it is.
I love this.
Isn't this nice?
I really like that. I love the color. I love everything.
That's men's, LLB men's.
I go there to their outlet anytime I can.
It's down there in Burlington, right?
Yeah, there's one in up in York or
Oh, well,
wherever,
that's-
up
that's
there
a
too,
long way.
Kittery or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, people are always interested. I mean, I can always tell when Romeo enters the room because I hear him
going,
do it.
you know. Or did he go?
He's not there, gone yet. Well, somebody asked. He said when they asked when Romeo was leaving.
Well, Janine is supposed to be taking him and giving us a prego.
That's what I hear. I don't really like dividing off the barn, but we'll do it anyway.
We really have to, because I don't want to worry about her having that baby out in the cold tonight.
Oh, is she doing it today?
Well, if she arrives today, I think, yeah, we
Oh,
ought-
okay.
we ought to
Yeah,
put her
we'll
in the-
divide her once it.
She doesn't need much of the stall. Move it way down.
Yeah. You only can go as far as that gate will allow. But
Move the whole thing. Don't try and turn it anyway.
2 weeks ago,
You can make it about 8 feet wide.
but 8 feet wide.
That's plenty.
That's plenty. 2 weeks ago, they said they were coming to get Romeo, then the storm. And then they were going to come this weekend, and they didn't. So I'm like, when they come, they come.
They come. That's right. That's the way this whole thing goes.
I find out everything when I arrive.
Yes.
Oh, there's new donkeys.
That's how you find it out. Then she's taking a couple out of here, which she says she's cleared with everybody.
Who is she taking?
Going. I've forgotten who.
Skipper.
The one with the string halt.
He's completely recovered. He has no symptoms at all anymore.
He will.
I kept taking him on walks up and down the hills, all over.
Back up.
Back up, he does pretty well, but somebody bit his crest and it's swollen.
It's swollen. Are you sure it's bitten? Why?
It had
Teeth
like
marks?
it had hay, like hay,
hay.
mushy hay, like somebody nipped.
Because they do get that swollen crest when they have too much food.
Oh, do they?
Oh yeah.
Well, all he gets is hay. Is that still too much?
We've got very good hay, which we had to have with Mo and
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, they're not underfed, any of them.
No, none of them are underfed. And
But I think if there's somebody out there that's got I don't know if it's broken yet, but it's a big roll of fat right along the top of the vein.
so maybe that's
Eventually that sometimes falls over. That's called a broken crest.
a broken crest, and that's not necessarily an injury. It's just
No.
ate too much.
Too fat.
Oh, I have a broken crest probably. Let me see what other questions we have. Hey, Carlene's here. It's a good opportunity to ask her donkey questions, but we're not going to answer any dog questions. My cats are both doing well. Thank you for asking. Somebody asked if I've ever heard of Paddock Paradise.
What?
It's probably another rescue place for donkeys. There's so many donkey rescue places though. There's one in Aruba. I'm gonna go for a week.
Oh, they're all.
I'm gonna go for a week
Donkeys
and
are-
take care of 140 donkeys.
They're a universal item. Well, I tell you what you do. You take a pocket full of wormer. You take some wormer with you, give them all a squirt. That's what they don't have in these wild countries.
Oh, that's interesting. 2 years ago, Mo started whimpering.
Wait, let me continue with that.
Oh, okay.
It's about, I don't know, a couple bucks for a tube. And that tube will do. The minis, it would do 3, 4 of them.
Well, it's funny to me. Like I was reading how like every continent has their own indigenous donkeys.
Yep.
So, so I'm not even sure how big the donkeys are. The ones in Aruba, they all look exactly the same though. They're all gray.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you just look at what you got. You've got this tube.
Okay.
Mo would get the whole tube.
Oh wow.
Pockets would get probably half of it.
Half.
And just figure, it's not that scientific, you know?
Yeah. And it's probably flavored, so they like it.
Well, I don't know. I didn't taste it. It's pretty much ivermectin,
Yeah.
which I buy by the vial, 50 whatever the hell they are, 50 cc's, and we give 1/3 of 1 cc to the dogs every month.
Yep. It's
1/3 of 1 cc. So this bottle lasts for like 12 years.
Oh wow.
No, it's a
Yeah.
long time. And it's a lot cheaper than buying it in the tubes that they have for dogs. And it's the same medicine.
Right.
Ivermectin.
Ivermectin.
Merck.
Merck makes
What are you
it.
doing?
Huh?
So I haven't heard of
Nothing, Deagle.
I haven't heard of Paddock
I'm gonna
Paradise,
put
but
out-
there's so many
I'm gonna
donkey
put those out
rescues
to freeze,
that I
so-
have heard of.
But it's
Somebody
not
asked
good
why
though. It's
Flossie
sugar
wouldn't
filled.
take the treat off the box because she was afraid. The box was new to her, and she didn't have enough time to really figure it out that it was an okay box. She did the same thing with the insulator thing when it was on the ground. You know, they're afraid of it for 20, 30 minutes. They walk around it, stare at it, figure out that it's not going to bite them, and then they'll play with it.
Well, they don't usually get hurt either.
No.
A horse wouldn't notice it, walk over and get his foot stuck on it and run away. You know, hey, that's horses for you.
Well, I was reading, like, Kagan brought some insulators down over the weekend after I left on Sunday.
Those
I
are the
think.
black ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were here on the
Well,
cassette.
he put one or two on, but he just kind of put them on. He didn't tighten them. He didn't put the top on. He didn't secure it properly. So of course they were off.
Yeah.
Poppy had it throwing in the air, having a good old time, and then Flossie went, well, that looks like great fun. So then Flossie was playing with it. It was adorable. So then I was like, oh, what else do they like to play with? Well, they were like, they like an empty box, just no staples.
Yeah.
So I threw a box in there today, and Clover ripped a piece of tape off, and everybody was freaking out thinking that Clover ate tape. And I'm like, Clover didn't eat tape.
No, you don't have to worry about doggies. A horse, yeah, you can worry about it.
Yeah, no, they were all good.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
You put down fluffies?
Um,
Extra, in case we get freezing cold.
is Pockets a mammoth donkey or a large standard donkey?
What are we doing?
Is Pockets a standard donkey?
Pocket? No, she's a mammoth.
She is a mammoth.
She's not full grown yet.
She isn't?
I don't think so.
She's only 2?
Yeah,
I thought she was the full size she would be.
Oh no.
No.
She's turning 3 in May.
Yeah, she would be mature at 4.
Mature at 4. Oh, okay, good to know. I didn't
but
know
she
that.
should be learning to do something. She can learn to lay down, roll over, swing ropes around, or she can be taught a lot of stuff.
Pockets?
Pockets.
I'll work on it.
I started to feed her off the bucket of the tractor to make her stand up on a box to get it.
Oh, there you go. She's not afraid of things.
No.
Pockets is not afraid, so she's going to be easy to train to get on. Because I was telling the CPs that, and I was telling Linda too that I'm going to grab that box, that wood box that the big gray water thing is on, and I'm going to take that into the barn.
I think that's okay. You have to be sure that it's sturdy. She's heavy.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to put her on something that it's going to break because she'll never
Right.
get on it again.
Well, we feel that
I think that's what I made that for.
it was what you made it
Was
for,
it- was it
and then
for
somebody
pockets?
repurposed it.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not rotten.
That's correct.
So I'll check it out because I know
Yeah.
that thing is empty of water. So I'm gonna take that down to the barn. Why not? It's fun to train her.
Oh, it would be. I will make you a rope, a big rope. And what you do is you put it over one front foot. You pick up one front foot and put the loop around it, and then up over her back and down and around. Now you've got one foot up in the air. Now if you pull her head this way, she'll go down on that knee.
Oh, okay.
So if you quick gives that knee, then you got it.
Right.
Twice.
Okay.
Sugar lump, peppermint, something,
Yeah.
something very attractive. And once you got them down that far, then you can eventually tuck the other knee. Now you got them up both knees, and after that you can kind of push them over. But that'll take you a month or two.
Yeah, that'll be
That's
a
a
good one
very
to
good
learn.
project, though.
But she's really I just touch her foot now. She raises it for me.
Sure.
She's
Well, I'll tell you what else you
she's
can
doing
start to
really
do with
good.
her in there is take a towel, a full-size towel, a hand towel or something, and put it on her back and make her take it off.
Oh, really? Okay.
And she probably will.
You
You
think?
kind of fluff it and, show her and hang it on her and wiggle it a little bit, and then back away and let her worry about it. And then the minute she takes it off, give her a cookie or give her
Oh, okay.
put the frying pan under her nose.
Okay. That sounds great.
The minute they learn very quickly.
They do. She learns really quickly, and she also
Learns bad things very quickly.
bad things and defiance. She still tries to because I've been taking her for walks around the ground, and so I've got the halter on her and I'm putting it on the under her chin clip, and she hates that. If I put the halter on her, she doesn't like that much, but as soon as I put that clip under there, she just hates that clip. It's not very flat, the one I've been using. It's a little maybe too round. I don't know. Maybe I need a flatter clip. No, it doesn't
There's a
matter.
ring under there anyway, isn't there?
Well, it's like a ring, but it goes through, and so there's something kind of pushing up under here.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's just me humanizing.
Yeah.
And but I've been taking her for walks. Well, the other day she was coming full, both front feet off the ground, saying, "No, I don't like this at all." But we did it anyway.
Yeah.
How many hay bags are in the other stall? There's 2 hay bags in Mo's stall, and I put 2 smaller ones because Mo comes over, eats hay out of the big stall, and then she goes over and eats hers. There's always hay left in her stall.
There's hay all over the floor.
There's hay everywhere.
There's hay in the manure pile. $10 a bale, there's hay in the manure pile.
Will there be more layers on the barn floor? Yes, they're going to redo, I think, the breezeway and the stalls, right?
Not the breezeway.
Oh, you're not going to do the breezeway too?
Well, what do we have to do with the breezeway?
You know how like
There's some rat holes.
there are some rat holes.
They are rat holes.
There
No,
are.
I've got a construction company going to move in with 25 tons of stone dust.
And
We'll bring it up about a foot.
so it's going to bring it almost up to the door
Yeah,
threshold.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So yes.
They have to go find how to move it. And there is such a thing for moving gravel, so
Well, and I don't know if you've been down, and if you don't know CPs, there is a small secondary barn on the other side of the arena, and Tanner and Keegan used the antique barn wood that Carlene got, and they put in another actual, like, there's not just a structure, but there's actually a stall.
a big stall.
A big stall in there now. So this summer that'll be great because we
It will
could
be, but-
move.
Yeah, well,
everybody
yes, until she
and-
fills it up with quarantine.
Oh, Amber
There
sent a
you go.
picture of pockets on the box.
That's the same box, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I'll have to look. I think it's
it
been.
ought to be because that's the strong box. I made that box.
You made that box.
That'll hold it.
If not, we'll make another one this spring.
That's true. No, we have enough crap around here to make
Yeah,
it.
but that's cute. So we'll work on. I
See,
feel
the object is to get her to stand on the box.
stand on the box.
And working by myself, that's the only thing I can think of doing. But you can put the box there and then just stand around the other side with the pan in the air and see what happens too.
Yeah. Well,
You don't
she'll.
need the tractor.
I mean, Flossie will follow me pretty much anywhere that I go, but she'll go around. I mean, but I just, once she's comfortable with it being there, with it just being near her, we can go from there. As long as she's afraid of it, you can't train her to get on it. So I just need to get her accustomed to it. So I'm just going to put it
feed her
in
off
there.
it.
Yeah.
Put some grain on it.
I actually, when I put the box in there, I put a treat on it. She wouldn't even take the treat off the box.
Be careful.
Well, she was like, yeah, that's her, that's their,
That's not a horse. That is a donkey.
yeah, that's her
I have-
nature. And Pockets walks right in and goes, yeah, I'll take that treat.
I don't think I've ever had a laceration with a donkey. Am I?
Not that I'm aware
And I'm
of.
talking, I had 40 donkeys at one point. I had a lot of donkeys. And I've had them for years.
Yeah.
You can't own a horse for a month, but he'd cut himself on something.
Right. Well, I don't see any new comments. Does this mean we're done with the Bray already? It seems like it was a long enough time. But Carly, thank you for joining me. It's so good because I've been curious to ask you about the whimper because
Yeah,
people
it's
keep
funny
asking
noise.
me about it, and it's so funny. You go online and they say they do this, that, and the other, and sometimes they whimper, but it doesn't say why they whimper. It just says sometimes they whimper. That's mules.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, and also I'm just gonna say that the insulators are working great.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. They're working fabulously. I took 4 buckets, insulated them, put hot water in them, got them in position, topped them off with cold water, and they steamed. Even though it wasn't super hot, they steamed for several hours, and they never froze. So I'm hoping to tomorrow.
They will.
They will. They just won't as quickly.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm going to experiment with the salt water. That's why I have these buckets up here.
What do you mean?
I am told on the internet, and heaven knows, it must be right, you fill that with water, you fill this with water and salt, put the top back on, and drop that into that bucket, and that bucket will not freeze.
Well, I read something that just said to put a water bottle in it, and it'll just as they
Bob
move
around.
as they move
I've heard the
around.
bob around.
but
It's gonna be cold.
it's going to be super cold tonight, you guys. And
Right.
I told
this I think is a chemically sort of thing because
right.
to
Salt.
freeze this, it takes a lower temperature to freeze salt water.
Right, right.
So now whether that's giving up some of its heat to the cold, it's one of those things like this heater. I don't understand. This heater is getting its heat from out there, outside. It takes the air outside, somehow makes it warm, and it comes in. You know, I don't understand those either.
Oh, well, thanks everybody for tuning into the Bray. I'll be back here tomorrow because I told Hannah, because it's going to be so cold, that,
We're gonna need help.
yeah, I didn't want her to do it alone. And so I'll probably even be done before she gets here because I'm so fast. But I'm going to help her so she doesn't have to be out in the cold for hours.
The donkeys will live on hay and water. You can take the string off, throw the whole bale in on the floor. They'll live.
Right.
And put water in the bucket.
Yeah.
They'll live.
Right.
They'll
Yeah,
walk
the
all
sweeping
over,
up-
they'll eat it off the floor, and it'll be fine.
The sweeping up is secondary.
That's correct. You don't have to do that till it's warmer.
Right. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Just take the string off the bales.
Absolutely.
What are you doing?
I'm waiting for the microphone to go off.